What's up, jackalopes? Today I'm going to be telling you what happened in the second and third week of Sherlock-A-Thon. I gotta say, the second and third weeks of Sherlock-A-Thon were not as successful for me. I kind of fell into a reading slump, which I think is very much related to this whole pandemic situation. I've been working from home, which is much more exhausting than I would think it would be. So I've been quite tired lately, and I just haven't been doing much reading. I've been doing a lot more crafting and things like that. Actually, I did finish my little bookmark. It's a little wonky, but I like it. So yeah, I've been doing more of that kind of thing. Not as much reading, but I did finish one more book for Sherlock-A-Thon. I did finish The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, and I absolutely love this book. This had some really fantastic characters. It kept me guessing. I had no idea how it was going to turn out, and the ending completely surprised me. I really loved it. The narration was very good. Yeah, I don't have much that I feel like I can say about it beyond just that it's got great characters, the mystery is great, the twist at the end is great. I just don't want to give anything away, because if you haven't read this, you should definitely read it. It's really, really good. It's probably one of my favorite mysteries I've read. So that's really cool. That was a new favorite that I got to read. The other thing I was reading was Death at La Fenice, which was, I don't even remember which prompt this was for anymore. I'll put it on the screen somewhere when I figure it out. But yeah, I was reading Death at La Fenice by Donna Leon. I'm really enjoying this, but I only got a little over halfway through. Again, I just totally slowed down my reading. Just was not in the mood to do any reading. But I am really enjoying this one as well. I don't think it's going to be a favorite, but I think that it is really solid, and I will probably read the other entries in this series, or at least some of them. I really enjoy the main character. His name is Guido Brunetti. He is a detective. He's the commissario of police, one of 3 in Venice. And he's just, I think, a very refreshing detective character, where he's just this really calm, down-to-earth. He's not alcoholic, which is nice in a detective sometimes. He's married happily. He gets along well with his co-workers. He's not terribly judgmental. He's very nice to people. So I think he's a very interesting and fun character, in part because he doesn't fall into some of the stereotypical types of detective. He's very much not the, like, troubled alcoholic, private eye kind of guy. And I really like that about him. I think he's really interesting. I also love that he's really good with people, which is a good thing because he spends a lot of time talking to people, where there's very little other investigation happening. I think it's probably a little more true to what investigative work may be like. But my best friend describes this, I think, very accurately as a kind of point-and-click adventure type of book, because it's a lot of walking to one place and looking at 2 things there and chatting with somebody and interrogating them, and then walking to another place and talking to somebody there. So it's a lot of walking in between places. There's lots of really beautiful descriptions of the city, which I think are a lot of fun, but it's definitely not like an action-packed mystery series or mystery story. It's very chill. It's very political more than anything. And not even very, like, super political, but it's the strain between the man who was murdered is a famous conductor, so there's the strain between his public life and Brunetti trying to find out about his private life, which is very contentious among people that would have run in the same circles as this conductor. So there's mostly, the tension is there in Brunetti trying to find out more about this guy when there's not information that people want to give him readily. But yeah, there's very little action. It's a very slow-paced, chill read. So I think if you really are into mysteries that are very descriptive like that, and if you're into mysteries that are very atmospheric and very based in their setting, I guess, because this is very focused on the fact that it's a Venetian mystery. If you're interested in that kind of thing, and geography, stuff like that, I think that this is probably a very good read. And personally, I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finding out what happened to this conductor. It's just going to take me a while, and part of the reason I slowed down with this was I just felt like I was trying too hard to read quickly through it, and it doesn't feel like it's a book that's meant to be read quickly. But yeah, that's basically everything I read for Sherlock-A-Thon. Obviously I didn't read very much, but I did really enjoy participating. That was a lot of fun, and I did actually read more this month than I have in any month for the last, I don't know, 4 years, so that was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with what I did, with the number of books that I managed to read, so that's really cool. But yeah, that's basically all I've got for you today. So I lied. When I recorded that wrap-up for Sherlock-A-Thon weeks 2 and 3, I had kind of fallen into a reading slump, and I thought I wasn't going to read anything else, and then I did. First of all, I finished Death at La Fenice, finally. I had paused, I think, right at the last third of the book, and I was enjoying it, but I just didn't feel like reading. And then very suddenly I felt like reading again, and I tore through the ending. And I ended up giving this 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. It is a very slow mystery. It's what I would consider like a very chill mystery. Literally, I think other than like this bit at the end, all of this in the middle here is just Brunetti walking around, talking to people, and describing Venice. So it's lots of dialogue and lots of description, and that's basically it. There's very little investigation beyond all of the talking that Brunetti does. Maybe this is exactly what I needed right now because it is a very chill mystery, so it was kind of nice to have a kind of a relaxing read as we were all starting to shift towards like teleworking and dealing with this massive pandemic that's happening. So, you know, maybe this was exactly the book I needed because I do love a good murder mystery, but it was a nice relaxed read given that it was a murder mystery. It was just a very calming one somehow. Like, that feels really weird to say, but it was just very low-key and just didn't have like the massive dramatic moments that are often present in mystery novels, and instead was just very focused on characters and setting more than plot. So I actually really enjoyed that. It was very different from what I was expecting, but I think it's really good. I think I gave it 4 stars. I can't remember if I already said that, but yeah, if you want a chill murder mystery to read, this one's very good. And then the other thing that I read is Break Shot, My First 21 Years by James Taylor. I just signed up for Audible for the first time. I'm doing the free trial because I haven't listened to audiobooks in a very long time, so I'm not sure if it's really going to work for me. And so I listened to that. It's very short. It's like an hour and a half. And it's a really interesting experience because I normally don't care too much about memoirs, and I also like don't listen to James Taylor's music or know much about him anyway. But it was just a really interesting experience to hear him talk about his life, and then throughout the I don't want to say experience again, but throughout this like journey, he had put several pieces of music. I'm not sure if they were songs that he had previously written, if it was clips from things, or if it was written specifically for Break Shot, but there was this like musical experience alongside the story that he was telling. So that was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, that is the other 2 things that I read in March. So I think I read a total of 5 books, 6 books. I've erased my list. I don't know anymore. But more than I have been reading, because in January and February I read 3 books for each of those months. So yeah, March was a really good reading month for me, and I am excited to see what April brings. I have just picked my first read for April, so I'm excited to get into that. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.